Hello, Robin, the Inwit here, ready to break down the last 3 episodes, 4, 5, and 6 of Australian Survivor Blood versus Water. As now per usual, if you do want a bigger deep dive into the 3 episodes, I do have that chat with my co-host Reily over on Reality Pop, Survivor Worldwide. This week we had the one and only Dirty Harry join us. So if you want to go over there, see us have a chat and hear the good old Dirty Harry's thoughts on the last 3 episodes of Australian Survivor, please check that out. Here we'll probably keep things down to around half an hour as I blitz through the episodes. So in our Sunday episode, we have our Sophie who's being voted out, and we have the standard Australian Survivor twist or the non-elimination leg, or I mean that's an amazing race thing, but whatever we call that in the fake tribal happen. Now here we have a really great space where firstly we have Sandra doing what Sandra does best. We have a very easy vote out of Dave. He's on everybody's hit list. Everybody wants him gone. But do they? And this is where the majority seem to be, the train seems to be going down one direction. However, when everyone is so focused on things are going to be easy, the perfect time to make a move. We saw this with Andy when he was voted out first boot. When things seem safe, when things seem easy, this is where you have more room to breathe and more room to make a move. So Sandra goes ahead and does that. Sandra starts to rally a couple of people, sees that foursome that seem to be in control, put a bit of focus on them. We've got our 4 alphas. We still want to keep the alphas. Sophie's in the position that Sandra kind of wanted to be in. Sandra said I think she said she wanted to be in the alpha. She wanted the alpha boys working for her a little while ago. So when Sophie takes that position, easy target for Sandra to think, okay, cool. She's taking the control of the alphas. I really want that. So Sophie has to go. Not bad thinking. I mean, it's Sandra, not bad thinking, amazing thinking. Yeah, perfect. This is, again, breathing space. What we're doing is we're seeing how powerful a group of 4 can be. Imagine those group of 4, all their loved ones on the other side. There's a group of 8. Impossible to break apart. We need to break them up. We need to shatter that really quickly. Great thing with, I'm pretty sure it's Michelle on Sandra's side. Michelle, who seems to be Sandra's number 2 at the moment, on board with that. Amy's on board with that because Amy really likes Dave, saves Dave. Dave seems to be loyal. Yes, he's a bit erratic. Yes, he has something about wanting to throw hand grenades. Rah, rah, rah. Doesn't make a difference. It's about that room to move. And Sandra moves really, really well here. She also has Sam on board. So the majority flip this whole thing. Very easy vote. However, once again, and look, Sandra will be my exception for this rule going forward. I know she said she watched Australian Survivor. I don't know if she's watched them all. I don't know how much she watched. I don't know. I'd like to hope that she's a big fan of Survivor and watches every season. But the problem I have, and if it happens again next season, I am going to be fuming. We have JLP come and say, hang on, this isn't just a regular tribal. The other team, you might have won, but you're not coming. You're also going to come to tribal and you're going to watch what happens at tribal. This is alarm bells 101. If you've seen enough Australian Survivor, especially its recent rendition, these last 6 to 7 seasons now, we have, I think, two tribals that are fake outs. We have one very early on, and the one early on in the very first time is why we have Kirsty Bennett as our original winner. She got demolished by Phoebe, saved by this twist here, and goes on to win the game. Christy Bennett, I can't remember. She goes on to win the game. Now, when JLP gives that warning sign that that the other team's going to come and watch tribal, something is up. I'm going to forgive Sandra only because she's American and she may not have watched everything. Only that reason. But anyone going forward, if the other tribe is coming to a tribal council, you better be ready for something. So we go all in with this plan, and this plan ends up backfiring to a degree because Sophie isn't eliminated. I mean, in that case, do you just vote Dave? Maybe Dave wasn't the proper vote. Maybe it's a hard one because no matter what, this person's going to be saved, and I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure the best way to play this as I talk this out right now, because maybe you just have to stick to the plan. Like maybe you do, because what else can you do to really stop someone? Someone's going to be hurt. Someone's going to be thrown to the other tribe. They're probably going to be on the bottom over there as well. I mean, maybe it was the right move, to be honest. Part of me just is frustrated that no one ever sees this coming. It's there, the writing's on the wall, they're not going home that episode. It's plain and clear now. If you've watched enough Australian Survivor, as soon as something like that happens, you know something's up. How do you combat that though? I don't really know just yet. Part of me thought you'd go the safe plan. I mean, all the votes on Dave. Dave goes over there. Dave goes over there, and he doesn't have a loved one over there anymore. He becomes a number pretty quickly. Firstly, he's obviously going to be on the bottom, and he's a potential easy vote, much like Sophie was a potential easy vote, but it's a stupid vote. Especially if Dave doesn't have a loved one, he's such an easy number for your team, your little alliance. So maybe you just have to stick to the plan. Maybe it's just one of those things that you've just got to grin and bear it. Anyway, what ends up happening is it kind of works out really well. We have that reward challenge where they do get to intermingle again, and Sophie is she's still reeling, and she's still talking. She goes up and talks to the Alpha Boys, who are already they know they're on the bottom. They now want to reintegrate with the tribe, and that becomes a really important element in that the plan actually worked. It wasn't a bad option to vote out Sophie. So following on from that, I mean, I said a lot of different things on our little chat earlier, but maybe that is the only way to play this. Maybe you just have to know this is going to happen and hope that, there's always going to be an element of luck, and this is the element of luck. Hope that when they move over there, they either get voted out or tribe swaps happen, or they understand the game. I don't know. I don't actually know how to play this. I will put a bit more thought into it, because right off the bat, I thought, well, why would you go out there guns blazing when you know you're going to get screwed over? That's my original thought process. It's like, you're going to get screwed. Why put that big plan into action? Why put this massive blindside out there when it all falls to pieces? But what other option do you have? Because the safe vote doesn't really do much either, unless that person goes over there and really screws themselves over in that other tribe. That is a tricky one to play now that I think about it a little bit more and talk it out loud a little bit more, even though, and this is how I've literally thought that people are foolish for not doing anything and not planning for this non-elimination, this non-vote, or the fake tribal. But I actually don't know how to counteract that at the moment. So if you have any ideas, please chuck them in the chat, because I'd love to read them. I actually have no clue now what the best move in that situation is. Maybe the best move seems to be just stick to the plan. Just keep on going, and you work it out later, and you voted them out once, you'll be able to get them again. Because how many people, I mean, I say that, how many people come back for revenge? Season 3/season 1 of Australian Survivor. I call it 1, but technically it's 3. That's exactly what happened. So, and I mean, it also happened again with our Australia's Queen Reily last season. So maybe you definitely need to go for the safe vote, because if you go for that blindside, now we've got 2 people at who's been blindsided from and saved by a twist, gone on to win the game. So probably the best option is not the one that's being worked. What people do, probably the one is to anticipate this and have a plan for who the best person is to go over there. Maybe the best person is, and it's a risky move. It's a really, really risky move to potentially send someone who can get information. Maybe a really bold move is to send yourself. You go over the bottom of the other tribe, have to rebuild the relationships. But if you can survive that one vote, and you should be able to survive that next tribal, you should, because you are a number, you are more valuable. And by that time, 17 days in, cracks have been forming. Maybe a really, 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 really bold plan would be to send yourself over there somehow. I don't know, just talking out loud. Anyway, Sophie goes over there, she starts to rustle a couple of feathers, and she seems like the easy vote again. And once again, with this easy vote, we've seen it before. We've seen the easy vote being, who was the easy vote when Andy went home? Oh, the easy vote was, what, Alex. The easy vote was Alex because he was injured. Andy thinks it's easy, Andy goes home. The easy vote here was Dave. Sophie gets switched to the other tribe. Now the easy vote comes again, which is Sophie. Sophie seems to be the obvious choice. She's ruffling feathers. She isn't really. She's still coming out as strong as Sophie does. I mean, I went to school with Sophie and KJ. I'm in between both of their ages, so I do know of them. I served Sophie at my family business for quite a number of years. So she's a strong, and she says it herself, a very strong opinionated woman. And I can tell you first-hand experience, she is. And that's not a terrible thing at all. But it could cause her some problems moving across to the other tribe. It looks like it does, and it could have quite easily done that. But that's where the breathing space goes. We get these players like Mark, who seems to just be playing a great game, targeting Khan. And we did talk about this on the stream earlier today, that Harry doesn't think Khan is the best option to have, and it is lucky that it didn't end up playing out like it should have, because Khan is a great shield. I hear that. I hear Khan is a great shield, but I feel like Khan could get a run of something. I mean, he's already got an idol. What's the chances of him getting more idols? He's a smart player. He is this season's snake. He's a shield, but he's a really dangerous shield. So personally, for me, I think it's a strong blindside, only because Khan is sticking out so much that it seems to be an obvious blindside that everyone would be on board with and everyone is keen on, and it's an easy sell. So I don't mind the fact of getting rid of Khan this early. And I do hear the idea behind wanting to keep him because he is a big threat. But unless you are the very next threat, and I don't think Mark is. Mark is doing an amazing job at keeping his threat level down when it should be much higher than it is, especially what we're seeing right now. There are other threats. I mean, Sandra is still in the game. There is no way Khan is a bigger threat than Sandra. You have plenty of shields. You've got the alpha males. I mean, you've got Ben, for crying out loud, who did the most amazing thing I've ever seen from memory in a Survivor Challenge, who literally, I mean, for those who watch me regularly, or me and Jack back in the day regularly, you know I love a challenge beast. I love it. It's not the key of the game, of course, but God, do I love a challenge beast. And what Ben, that feat of strength and feat of willpower that he brought to the table in Monday night's episode, where he literally held the entire log by himself, 1 versus 8, and still ended up winning. Amazing. Blows my mind. If his threat didn't shoot through the roof then as a physical player, you know, a physical player threat is an easier shield to keep around, to be honest, because how many super physical players, the physical totem of the three pillar, or physical pillar of the 3 pillars of the Survivor game, so social, strategic, and physical. How many of the physical strengths, or the people who have the strong physical side, go on to win? They never do that. I just don't think, I just wouldn't put a strategic shield above a physical shield, because a strategic shield is a good player that could easily outdo you and get you a little earlier. Right now, Khan feels super safe. Khan wants to hold on to this idol longer. The longer you leave him in the game, the more alert he's going to be. As people get going, as people knock off the list, and the cast, the tribes dwindle down, he's going to be more alert for anything fishy and anything sus. And I mean, we did see he was pretty sus in the end, because they did not play it super well. They let things go. He got sus. He saw all the conversations. He wasn't a part of them. It wasn't a great blindside attempt from what we are shown. But when there's less players in the game, that's going to be harder to do because he's going to be more alert because he knows he's a big threat. He knows he's a big personality. He knows people should be targeting him very, very easily. So unfortunately, we end up getting Alex quitting the game. And generally, I hate a quitter. I have that silly video of me on my own personal YouTube channel of me bawling my eyes out when we had that comeback of Survivor Season 1 and that guy quit, or Season 3, and that guy quit, episode 4, 3 or something. I was shattered. I hate someone who quits. But with Alex is one of the few people that I have so much respect for what he pushed through. Like, he put his body on the line. He was in pain. He kept fighting. He was on pain on day 3 and he pushed all the way through to day 17. And that log challenge, he really tried his hardest. So he didn't want to play anymore. And I don't have a problem with his quit. I kind of have a problem with not letting... He asked to be voted out. He said he can't go on and he asked to be voted out. And then what you have is... you do say Mark say, like, no, we don't. Mark is really hell-bent on wanting to get Khan out. This should be another warning sign for Khan. Right now, when you have someone who's saying, please, I can't go on, please vote me out, and you don't want to vote them out because you have this blindside planned, the other vote was an easy vote of Sophie. That was the plan. Doesn't matter. You'll get her next week. Or next tribal. You'll get her easily. Don't have to worry. Alex can go. We can vote Alex out now. But because Mark, this is the one thing I'm going to say that Mark has done wrong right now. So far, I think he's played a very, very, very near perfect game. And this is what I've seen, that what we've been shown is his biggest mistake. That need to really have this plan follow through. That's where things get a little bit iffy for me. Because while you're doing that, you were trying to keep control of a moment that should not have control. And what you end up doing is you force your hand anyway. He quits and you're screwed. You could have let that go. You could have calmed Khan's alarm bells. His spidey senses are already tingling, and when that happens, now they're going through the roof. But you could have given Khan a little bit of a chance to ease off and go, oh, maybe it wasn't going to be me. Yeah, we have a heart. We want to let Alex go home. We'll vote Alex out. Cool. Khan can calm again. But in this case, Khan hears and sees people are really adamant on voting. Something is up. It's definitely not Sophie, because Sophie's an easy vote. Something is up. And this, I think, is the one big flaw I've seen in Mark's game so far. Still think he's a high chance to be our winner for this season. We haven't seen much of Nina this time around. I still think she's still going to go pretty far. And great that we're not seeing too much of her. She had her moment. She's sitting back. She's got a threat to manage as well. She's Sandra's daughter, so I don't mind if she pulls back a little bit here and there and we don't get too much screen time of her. If that's happening, she's doing a pretty good job, to be honest. Anyway, Alex heads off home. Amazing challenge. Loved that challenge so much. So Monday wraps us up with Alex leaving the game, and we head on into Tuesday's episode. And in Tuesday, we have that follow-up of Sandra doing another great job, and she could have easily gone home this time. This could have been played a lot better by people who aren't as good as Sandra. Amy has kind of screwed the pooch there, and the only thing that really gave her away is literally the idol. This plan seemed to be pretty solid. There wasn't much hope for Sandra here, because right now everyone is on board. However, the problem is when you have that idol and someone sees you, we get Michelle seeing the idol from afar. Sure, she didn't tell anyone about it, but she wasn't really subtle. It's hard to be subtle when you got to get this giant metal pole. You got to be clean with your idol pickup. You know what? I would try and either bury the pole or move the pole somewhere else so no one else finds the pole. Sometimes it's okay to let an idol sit if you know where it is. especially, well, I don't know, especially one so far up a tree. I mean, it's risky to let it sit. But you know, right now we're seeing idols do a lot more damage than good because everyone knows about the idol. At some point in time, they're coming up. Someone's either mentioning it or someone's getting seen it's been found. So maybe you're better off without it. So why don't you just let it sit and get it when it's safe? And then when no one will see about it, when no one will know about it, and then it can be powerful. Right now it's a liability. And this is the only reason this plan failed. Because once things were in motion, it looked like it was going to be really hard to fix that. We have that key bit of information. The idol isn't the power, the information behind the idol is the power. So all of a sudden, things change. Michelle comes over, says, Sandra, hey, we've got an idol in play. Amy has an idol. Great, music to Sandra's ears. She was going home if that didn't happen. You think I'm a threat? This chick's got an idol. She's in your alliance. Did she tell you about it? Did you know about it? What's she up to? She's sneaky. We've got to flush it. It's too much power. No one should have that idol. Can't believe it worked. Cannot believe it worked. I mean, it's Sandra. She's won twice. And credit to her, she's only sat out on one challenge. She's really done an amazing job. You gotta, for someone who pretty much sits out on every challenge and still wins, like Sandra is, with such a target, managing it so well. I mean, let's hope she goes to merge. At least we know she goes to a tribe swap, and what we have is a potential Nina and Sandra coming back together. And I'm pretty positive at one point in time, hopefully once merge starts, Nina will vote Sandra out. I think that's a must. And I think it's a must from both parties. Sandra should know she can't win the game. I mean, if she got to the end, if she managed to get to the end, she deserves to win. She definitely deserves to win. But, you know, chances are pretty slim. You know, why don't you increase your chances to keep it in the family by getting Nina to throw you out of the game? Throw you out of the game and onto the jury. For sure. I mean, easy. Because now you're going to help lower Nina's threat. Because you being in there increases her threat. You going out decreases the threat. So I think that's going to happen eventually, and I hope it does. I really hope they can stick around until Nina has to get rid of her and merge. But anyway, the idol comes out, and then we get the plan of splitting 4 on Jay, 3 on Amy, and none on Dave. Once again, Dave has become a number. Dave's no threat. He did so much damage to his game. One, he does so much damage to his game, he's shown he doesn't actually understand enough of the game to be a concern to anyone, that he can now just become a number. He's probably going to go deep in the game from someone who was, you know, so easy to go home next time. Very, very easy to just get rid of Dave. Never happened because too much control got into the tribe. If it was unanimous and no one was forcing anyone to do anything, which is funny because Sandra forces everybody to do everything, but it's the way she goes about it. The way she goes about it is really important, and Sophie didn't do what Sandra does, even though they're doing the exact same thing. But yeah, it's interesting to want to flush an idol, maybe, and not put all the votes, put the majority of the votes on her. Maybe that's a bit of misinformation. Maybe that's something that we had that Sandra, because she's in control, Sandra hasn't read. Sandra hasn't read that Amy actually is the one really behind the wheel trying to get her out. She still thinks it's Dave. And this is the one, and I think I've mentioned this many years ago, one of the biggest flaws I find in Sandra's game is that concept. You vote for me, I'm coming for you. Dave won't mention he voted put my name down. Dave didn't put your name down. He's being honest. But that one little key to her emotion, her emotion comes out in fire. Like it's a fiery, very strong way. She doesn't get emotional, but her emotionals make her more aggressive and angry and a bit nastier, rather than. But she still plays with that emotion, and I think that's the one biggest weakness with Sandra's game. In this situation, she's hell-bent that she thinks Dave is trying to get her out. This is the moment where you keep your friends close, your enemies closer. She cuts that. I mean, who am I to talk? Really, she's won twice. But who, like, what happens if? What if she did start to try and let that go? Let that, oh, you voted, you put my name down, you're out of the game. Well, what if she let? What would happen? What would happen if she went and took Dave, went and mend the bridges with Dave? Maybe it's disingenuous. Maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what could have happened, because she's missed the opportunity to potentially take Amy out. She's taken Jay out. Jay was a number. Alex has just quit. His blood has quit. So Jay's now a number. Jay's another Dave. I love the fact that Jay was the alternate, because you're right now Dave's enemy number one. Great. If an idol's going to be played, we're most likely going to play it for Dave. If it's not going to be Amy, but if there's two idols in play, it's going to go Amy and Dave, and they won't want to put on Jay. I never mind that thinking. I really don't. I think that's a really great way to approach it. Who do we want? Who do they think we're going to target? We have to target someone else. We have to throw the smoke off them, or we have to put the smoke out there so we can move. And that's what happens. However, I don't know why they put 4 on Jay, 3 on. The only reason I can think they put 3 on Amy is because they just don't think or Sandra doesn't think she's the one that's making all the moves or really wanting to get her out. That said, I really liked Sandra's beautiful little moment with Sam or Michelle. Is it AMY or AIM? Don't matter. JLP will be able to read it anyway. Love it. So funny. She's so funny, and she's great with confessionals. She's awesome, and she's moving really, really well. I would have liked to have seen Amy be the one that took the heat and Jay as the safety, but maybe there's something we're not seeing. Maybe there's social. Maybe it's something they're not seeing as well. Next week, we're obviously going to have this tribe switch up, the first mix before I think the next thing becomes merge, and we start getting our jury. Who do I think I don't know who's going to go. I don't know who's going to go next. I don't. With a mix-up, it's always hard. I'm not going to say Sandra. I really think Sandra makes it to the merge. But when I say that, sorry guys. Sorry everybody. I really hope she makes it to the merge. Who do I think? I really think we're going to get in a mix-up. I think we're going to see a couple of loved ones come together, and when you get the love and a couple of who's a single. Is the only single Dave? Is Dave still the only single? He is. Okay. Maybe Sophie goes. Maybe Sophie's real strong opinionated self, even though Sandra is exactly the same, just works it better. Maybe she goes. It's always so hard, especially when there's 19 players left. I feel like it might be Sophie or someone that is pretty much non-existent yet. I mean, Jay had 0 confessionals. Maybe it's Mel or Michelle, one of the twins, because they're also not getting much screen time. But who knows? That's what I'm gonna say. One of the twins or Sophie will go home next on Sunday. Still think Mark's in a strong position to win. I feel like he'll go up against Nina. I really do. But maybe not. You know what, Sam, I'm still concerned about Sam's game. I don't know if she'll make merge. Just some red flags for me. Anyway, again, thank you all for tuning in. Please comment, please subscribe if you want to know anything. I'm thinking about turning this into doing it live when I do it. So that might be a bit of fun, because I'm doing it for the other show. We record that live. I might turn this into going live next time. We'll set that up and see how things are looking, because that's kind of fun. Otherwise, again, if you want a larger, more in-depth conversation with myself, my co-host Reily, and the notorious Dirty Harry from All Stars and Champions vs Contenders. Was he Champions vs Contenders? Or was he season 2? Can't remember his first season, but definitely All Stars. Go in, check it out over at Reality Pop Survivor Worldwide. Otherwise, I'll be here week in, week out at the Inwit channel. I'll see you all later.